Hello and welcome to the next Lukozer retro game review video. For this one it is Arcade Classics, which was released by Firebird in it was either 86 or 87. I'll find out exactly which one before I actually post this video. This game is, well, it's essentially a compilation of 4 games, 4 classic arcade games, hence the amazing coincidence of the title. So it features Space Invaders, Asteroids, Snakes and Space Wars, though, well, for me at least, I never saw Snakes or Space Wars in any arcade here in Southend, so I don't know, I don't really know very much about those games at all. I mean, well, certainly not as far as their arcade cabinets. I mean, everybody knows the game Snake, and certainly everybody who had a Atari 2600 knew Space Wars. They may not necessarily have had it, I didn't. But yeah, we certainly knew about it. As it is, everybody who had an Atari 2600 had Combat, and a lot of the games were the same thing. So now, this game became quite well known for one reason only, and you are hearing it now. I consider this piece of music to be the best music that Rob Hubbard ever composed. Unfortunately, my disc image is not that good, although I suspect it's actually more to do with how the SID chip is set up in my emulator, because it seems to be struggling somewhat. It certainly doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound as good as it should. If you want to hear this tune all the way through, and I don't blame you one bit for wanting to, I've had it uploaded in my retro game music playlist for quite some time. If you're not familiar with it, it is well worth checking out. If you are familiar with it, fucking go and listen to it again, because it's fucking superb. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for any of the conversions in this set. I mean, bearing in mind that the game was only $2.99 when it was released, so you're getting 4 games for £3, so basically 75p per game. So you can't be that demanding, which is just as well. So let's get the 2 games that are a bit shit out of the way first. So we'll start with Snakes. The big problem with this is one of 2 games that can only be played as 2-player. There's no single player mode. So if we start the game, I'm the snake on the top, but yeah, I can't really do anything. I can try and get the blocks to make me grow, but other than that, you can also eat parts of the other snake if you pass less than half of it. So yeah, so you eat the tail, and you don't get any points for doing it that way, but you do grow a bit. But yeah, this is really all you can do. I mean, you can fuck up like I did there. I mean, I'm playing against nobody and I lost that round. But yeah, basically it's just try and block the cunt. There you go. So I win. How great. I'm playing nobody. The other, well, problem with this video anyway is that you can't see player 2's score because my webcam is in the way. So, but yeah, anyway, so I mean, you can see what the game is like. Unbelievably basic. I mean, if it wasn't for the Rob Hubbard music that continues playing in the background, you'd be forgiven for thinking you'd loaded a game from cassette 50 or something. So, yeah, well that's stakes anyway. So, we get out of there, then we go on to Space Wars, and this is the second game that can only be played with 2 players. So, I'll set gravity to 0, and I forgot to do any of the other settings. But yeah, you can either bounce around, or if you set it you can wrap around. If you hit the sun, then clearly, as you've just seen, you are destroyed. Now the enemy's ship can take a few hits. I think it takes something like about 5 shots before it is you know, completely destroyed. But your own shots can damage yourself. My ship is now stuck. It's another issue with Space Wars. It is bugged. So yeah, again my shots are bouncing, and so I'm doing pretty well at blowing up myself, which is particularly bad when you consider I'm up against no one. Yeah, so I'm firing a few shots which seem to be hitting it, but they are actually going through. Okay, so at last some of them hit. So anyway, that's Space Wars. It's 2-player only. It's also bugged, and sometimes the ships get stuck, can't move. So yeah, it's really not very good at all. So let's get out of this one. Now we'll go on to the 2 games that more people are well more familiar with down at actual arcades. So we'll start with Space Invaders. And they've given it the retro feel by making it monochromatic. They've also included the original title page here with the spelling mistakes which the invaders come along and actually correct. So let's start the game. And the music stops when we get the original, well, it's supposed to be the original sound effects. The sound of the aliens, invaders moving are somewhat there, but I mean, you look at the game and you think, well, yeah, I know Invaders is meant to be simplistic and that, but fuck me, not this simple. I think they've rather overdone the retro side of making it look somewhat basic and sound basic. I mean, it shouldn't be quite, you know, this bad. Okay, now I'm doing really shit here. There we go. Took fucking long enough, but finally managed it. So on to wave 2. So yeah, it's really not a very good version of Space Invaders, and I mean, you would think that, you know, doing a version of Space Invaders is impossible to get wrong, because, well, the game did come out in 78, 79, so it's not going to be very demanding, and the Commodore 64 should have no problem you know, having a version of Space Invaders thrown at it. But yeah, the bottom line is it's not a very good version. And I have played worse, though I can't remember when. I can hazard a guess at what the title might have been. And well, if I had to guess what computer it was on, if it's shit, then I'll guess it was on an Amstrad. But yeah, it's just not good, you know. But nevertheless, so back in the day, I mean, you were getting, like I said already, 4 games for 75p. You can't be too demanding of it. So anyway, so that's Space Invaders, and then finally Asteroids. So yeah, it's the usual thing. I mean, it is an Asteroids conversion. So let's fire this one up, and as you can see, and I'm going to play my usual strategy, which is to stay completely stationary and just hope to fuck that I can somehow destroy all these pissant little rocks that are flying around so fucking fast. But yeah, this is really not a very good version of Asteroids. I haven't got a clue how many lives I've got left, because the fucking webcam is right over the fucking top of them. I think this is my last life. You do get quite a few lives, but that's because the game is fucking hard. Though it's not that hard. That is the shittiest go I've had for fuck knows how long. So I'll have another one. See if I can do any better. I really cannot do much worse than that go. That was fucking cringing. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, so I probably can do worse. Maybe I will have to actually start moving. Okay, so I have done better than my last go. There we go. So wave 1 done. Wave 2. Yeah, well, you knew what to expect. But yeah, just like the Space Invaders one, it's a simple, classic, old game, and it really is not a very good conversion of it at all. So, well, there we go. That's quite enough of that. So, yes, it's a familiar theme with all of them. Yeah, they are classic games, and say if you are a regular viewer of my channel, you will know that when it comes to gaming, particularly arcade games, I'm very old school. I do much prefer the old classics, but yeah, these are not good versions. However, that doesn't mean that I hated the game. Because the game was $2.99, it basically cost the same price as a 12-inch single back in the day when this was released. So I got a decent piece of music that goes on for, I think it's about 6 or 7 minutes this piece goes on for £3. So in that regard, I was quite okay with it. I thought it was alright, and I would frequently load it up just to listen to music. I didn't play any of the fucking games. So I mean, if I was scoring this on the basis of how good the music was, I would score it 10 out of 10. The music is fucking superb. But I'm not. I'm judging it as a game, and yeah, it's just not very good. I would rate it 3 out of 10. If you want to enjoy this at its best, get the SID file, especially as the SID file, if you play it through SID Play, sounds exactly as it did on a Commodore 64 back in the day. This version, I say, there's something not quite right with it. So you do that, and you get the undisputed highlights of the game just through the SID file. The games themselves, yeah, they're not much cop. So there you go, that is Arcade Classics, 3 out of 10, but the music gets a 10 out of 10. Alright, well that brings this review to an end, and as always, we'll see you at the next one.